Hello everyone, welcome back to the Apache Halloween YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at my 2016 model Twitching Banshee from Spirit Halloween. Now this is one of my earlier props I've ever received. This one has been in the collection for very much a long time. And it still holds up as one of the more creepy animatronics I think that Spirit Halloween has ever released. It's not in the realm of gore creepy, it's more in the realm of ominous creepy, because all she does is really just thrash around and scream. Really sells the name Banshee, I guess. And overall just such a cool prop. It's so cool that they are re-releasing her again this year, 2024. So let's open up an original model. Well, not technically an original model. She came out in 2015, and this is the 2016 variant that was in the hotel display. But it's pretty much the exact same prop. Now she re-released again in like 2020, 2021, sometime around that, from Costco. And I noticed that there were some obvious differences between that model and this model. One thing was that the original model's speed was a lot faster. The thrashing motion seemed more sped up, more realistic, more freaky. And the Costco variant was a lot slower and the eyes were a different color. But mainly it was the speed thing that really I didn't like a lot about it. Hopefully the 2024 Spirit re-release is not like that. I hope it's really true to the original. But I guess we'll find out. So here is the 2016 one. So here are the contents of the box, and this is a very generic setup here. Nothing crazy is going on. It's a one motion character, so it's pretty simple. But here is the cloak or the dress that she's wearing. It's got some freaky fabric mesh material that's on it on top to give it like a ghostly appearance. I think that's what they were going for. I think she's supposed to look like a ghost apparition of some kind. Here's the arms. This has like weird chain connections so they kind of move on their own. Adds some extra animation even though there's no motor to it. This is the other hand. Here we got the head. This is pretty freaky. It's a plastic material, which is nice. The mouth is on like a loose axle here so it can move on its own. So basically anytime it thrashes around, the mouth can go up and down. The eyes light up, which is nice, but very much a freaky looking sculpt. The teeth look very jaggedy and sharp. Overall, a pretty cool character in my opinion. Next up, we have the control box here with the breastplate and sensor that's mounted at the top here. This control box is modern day Spirit stuff, so it's got a beefier speaker. You've got volume control and like on, off, and like you got sensor on and off, and then one of those ways is like the try me function. And of course it's got the adapter. Got a hip loop right here. We have the module here with the motor that makes the Banshee thrash around. I had to do some slight repair work for the prop last year. The armature that holds in the hip loop, this little notch right here, broke off and I had to find a replacement. It works, it's a little loose, but it gets the job done. So this just rolls around and like thrashes, and that's what makes the movement. The adapter's in its white box. Got some poles here. We got 4 support poles. The base has outriggers in a way to give it some more stabilization that fold up for easy storage. And then lastly, the instructions that are still here. These are a little worn out. Got a big rip in them. I could probably just get taped up. Not too worried about it. But it just says Twitching Banshee and just black and white instructions. Nothing like the modern day Spirit stuff. But it was good enough for the time, and it works. You don't really even need the instructions for this piece. It's a pretty simple setup. So speaking of setups, let's get into that. Alright, let's start off with our base. Put the outriggers outwards for extra stabilization. And we're going to start building the Banshee up. So we have our support poles here. They just snap lock in like any other SVI animatronic. And I really love this prop. This thing is really scary. It usually sits in like a dark tunnel at the end of our haunt for the past 5 years or so. And it's always The little kids are always like, I don't want to go in there because of this thing. But I think I'm going to be moving it this year. Not sure what I'm going to do exactly yet, but I want to switch it up a bit. Next up, we're going to take the module here and snap lock it into place. And this is when you can realize if you have it the right way or not. It's supposed to go this way. This is the front. We're going to take the module here and snap lock that into place like so. And I guess now would be a good time to get the hip loop in place here. Just use the prongs, slide it into place. There is a plug for the motor right down here that you're going to want to plug in before you put the clothing on. And then I'd also suggest to plug in the adapter. That way you don't have to try to find the adapter jack while the clothing's all on. So just have that draped down right here, and that's good to go. Now we're going to take the clothing and throw it over the top here and just let it kind of drape down to where we want it to go. There's a Velcro piece for the sensor right here that you're going to want to Velcro in place before probably going any farther. I'm going to now take the head and snap lock it into place on the neck pole right here. Make sure you hear it lock in place. And then come along the back here and plug in the wire that leads to the eyes. And lastly, we're just going to take the hands here with the arms mounted. And there's just forks on the top here that just slide into place. So we're going to go up the arm sleeves here and try to lock it in place. So I got the hands all fitted up. If you saw at the last clip, I was kind of confused for a second, and that was because this outer fabric material was like draped on the back side, and the arms were like covered within it, as well as back here, the little Velcro pieces to access the control box was like covered over with the material. And I didn't recall that before anytime setting her up over the previous years, so I was like, something must be wrong. And it was wrong. It was just probably during storage it somehow got like draped in the wrong place, but I got it to how it's supposed to be, and everything is how it's supposed to look like. And there is the twitching Banshee all set up. Overall, it's not really anything revolutionary in terms of character design or even mechanism wise. It's just a thrashing motor, but I think the execution of this scary apparition thing is very creepy, and I love it. It's a great scare for anyone who's easily scared, I guess. Just that face is demonic looking, staring at you, the teeth and the gaping jaw. It looks pretty freaky in the dark. I think strobe lights on this is a must. Makes you kind of disorientate a little bit, but that's really all she is, and she's awesome about that. So let's do an activation of her and see how she works, and then we'll go into a nighttime demo later. So let's plug her in and see how she works. Alright, it's plugged in. Not sure what mode it's on. Hoping sensor mode? There we go. Well, I'm going to turn the volume down. It's kind of loud. Oh, that's a lot better. It's not as annoying. Honestly startled me for a second. But that's what's cool about her, is that her speaker's so loud that you can have it up all the way and scare the crap out of a lot of people. But there is the Banshee. I love it a lot. Just the fact that you can't really see the face through the hairline. Just kind of see it. That's like just freaky right there. But it's very simple but very effective. It's a great scare, and it's pretty cool that she's coming back. So let's cut to a nighttime demo of the twitching Banshee. So there she is, the 2015/16 Twitching Banshee. This is a great prop, love it a lot. Some flaws with it. The sensor is kind of like shoved in between the breastplate and the chin, and sometimes it gets in a position where it doesn't really sense anything that well. But it seems like I've gotten lucky as of late. Another thing that really annoys me is coming around to the back here. Like, you have the access to the control box, but none of the controls are actually right here. All the controls are on the front, and it's like, what's the point of even having the back opened if you have to try and like reach your hand up and over into the front to like control the volume or change the mode? It just doesn't make sense to me, and I don't understand why that is, but it's probably just an overlook on Spirit's part. It's not the biggest of deals, but that's really my only two gripes with it. Other than that, it's a great piece, and it's pretty cool that she's coming back for the 2024 Halloween season. So if you missed out on her, you can go pick her up. Unfortunately, I think she's online only, which is kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. At least you're given the chance to get the Banshee once again after 8 years of silence, for a Spirit version, that is. But there she is. So that's really all I have to say about this Banshee piece. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.